Okay, welcome to Bitrix24 Live. I'm Damien Edwards, Commercial Manager of Bitrix24 Partners Interface, and with me I have our Support Manager, Andy Naylor.
Hi guys, so we're here for the next hour. If you've got any questions, just put them in the box next to the screen on YouTube, and we can answer any questions that you may have, whether it's the Bitrix24 cloud you are using, or whether it's the on-premise. We have both systems to show you anything live on the screen. So yeah, do please get your questions in throughout the next hour. If you do have any questions in the week, please do get in touch with us. You can email sales@interface.com. Better still, you can email live@interface.com. Or if you do go to the interface.com website, send us a message on our live chat, and you can pass us your questions through there as well.
Okay, so our contact details are on the screen there if you want. Contact us afterwards, but post your questions, as Andy says, in the chat window. We're able to provide you with pre-sale support, including a demo of the system, discussion with your team about which solution is going to be best for you. There are a number of different options. In particular, you have the option between a cloud package, which you pay on a monthly basis, and a self-hosted solution where you pay annually. And difference between the two, the main difference or main benefits of the self-hosted is that you get to choose where you host your data, which can be important for some industries. You get additional features on self-hosted, and kind of critically, you get the option to be able to brand it with your own branding on there. So it can be very suitable for some business, especially if you're inviting in people into the extranet. You want your own branded environment for that purpose. Additionally, I think one of the other reasons why you might buy self-hosted will be that you get a full API. So there are webhooks on the cloud package which allows you to do integrations. There's a full API on self-hosted solutions. But I think that data, the location of your data is very important. If you sign up for a cloud, your data is held in a local server. So in the UK, here it's in London. If you're in Europe, I think it's in Belgium. If you're in US, there's 2 or 3 different servers, and then so you get data held locally. But if you need it in a physical location in your office or something, you can achieve that with a self-hosted. So do we have some questions come in?
Yeah, we've had a few questions come in. So yeah, let's have a look. So one of the questions came in saying work groups. How does this link to the Bitrix drive? Does each work group have a separate secure folder? So yeah, we can explain that. So when you create a work group, for those of you that don't know, so click on create work group, and there are different types of work group, but let's just create a private work group to start off with. When we click in here, there is a drive link here. So that means essentially when you create the work group, you have a document drive that is only associated to this work group. So if we go into Buzzco, for an example, and click into the drive section of this, then if you just click, we'll just click off this to start off with. So when you create a work group, the document drive will exist here, and at the moment in our Bitrix24 drive, so if we just open this up in another tab, you'll notice that the Buzzco folder does not exist in your My Drive. So what we can do is essentially click on Connect to Drive, and if we refresh this Bitrix24 Drive page now, you can now see that Buzzco exists. So only you, when you connect it to your drive, will have access to that Buzzco folder in your My Drive section. However, everybody that's in the work group will have access to the document drive based on the permissions in the drive itself. So when you go into the document drive, as long as you're the workgroup creator, click into the little gear icon here, click into assign permissions, and then these are the permissions that are related to this document drive in Buzzco on its own. So this is the whole drive itself. If we make sure that this checkbox is ticked here, then click Save, then we can actually drill down the access permissions on a folder by folder basis and a file basis as well. So if we click on Costs, for example, here, and click on Access Permissions for the Costs folder, you can actually see that the group members option has been taken out of here. So that will mean that if you are not a moderator or not a group owner, you won't have access to that costs folder within this workgroup drive. So that will then be, the normal member will not see that folder at all. So that's how essentially you assign permissions in a workgroup by workgroup basis. And just going back to the question about how does it work with connecting to your drive. Once you've connected it to the drive, this is the area that if you have the desktop application open, then it can actually sync your My Drive to your local machine. So everything in here can sync to one drive location on your local machine, and you can edit files locally. Then once you save that file, it will sync via the desktop application and sync back up into the folder that it exists into here. So that's quite a good tool. But you would need the desktop application to be able to sync to your local machine from here. So hopefully that explains that question. Don't know if you
okay, so I am building a workflow that will send email with form, pause, receive reply from customer on step 1, email with form, send an email for confirmation, update the status of the lead, and then create a deal. Okay, so first we'll go through how you do that. Send an email with a form. The first thing you need to do is create a form. Let's do that. Go into this different site here and do that here. So if you go into CRM and CRM forms, then we can create a new form and do that. Yeah, so let's call it lead form, and we can add in to here any fields that exist in any of these modules, and we can first create custom fields in those modules if you want to do that. The information you want to gather isn't available as a standard field, but let's call it. Let's say we want to capture their name, date of birth, and company name. So that's our form, and we're going to generate a lead from this form. We can do a few other things. Manage duplications. Can't really do that on this form. We're not capturing anything we can use. Capturing email addresses or anything like that. We can use check duplicates, but you have the option if you're capturing more information. We can set some styling on here. Got 3 options, or you can use your own CSS. And a bit further down, if we save this form now, and then if we go back into it, it will generate the code for us. So if we scroll down to the bottom, we have the code here, and we have the link to. So Bitrix posts the form on a public page, which we can use, or we can not enable it. Right, let's just go back. So we just need to make sure that we have enable the form. Click on enable, and we can go back to the link now. So there's our form. So Bitrix creates the form on a public page, but you can embed it on your own page as well. And we copy this. Link to the form. We will go to, so you want to send an email with a form. So we're going to do this on a lead. So let's go into the lead. And we will go into our automation rules. So what we want to do is based on receiving a new lead, we want to send an email with a link to the form. So we have a few in here. I'm not going to take all of these out, but I'll just show you how you do it. So we have this new lead stage. This stage we want to do it. You want to put in communication, which is send email. Please complete form, and then we can have some text in there, and we can link to the form. So we can save that. So the first thing is the new lead is generated. How we generate a lead, I don't know, it's not being specified, but if you can generate a lead manually, you put it manually or from any other lead capturing source that's available in Bitrix. That will send the email out. We're looking for a reply from a customer, and then we want to send out another email with a confirmation. So we're looking for a customer to reply. So let's say we'll use this qualified lead stage. So we've got these two options here: email viewed, email link clicked, or incoming email. So we're looking for a reply from an email. So we use this incoming email as a trigger. So should we receive an incoming email from the email address that matches the email address on the lead, then we can perform actions below. They wanted to send another email. Do that here. Add the content to the email and then send it. And then update the state of the lead and create a deal. So actually, we've done that on the one stage. So automatically, when we get this incoming email, it will send out this email. It will win the deal. Win the lead, which will automatically generate a deal for us. So that's really it. There's a lot of other ones in here which we need to delete. I'm not going to delete them now. Essentially you just need these two stages: the new stage and the one stage. And on the one stage, it will automatically create the deal. I think we can create different things from. We can create different things from when we win a deal. I'm not too sure. Now to change what we in the automation what we generate, or does it go to a default, or can we default it? So when we update the stage to 1 in automation, I think if it's going to go to the default, because you've got the option to be able to create a series of different combination modules.
Yeah, I think if you've not used it before, I think the first time you're using that, it'll go to deal, contact and company. However, the last thing that I did on this demonstration site was generate a deal and a contact. So I think it defaults to the last type of...
So what they want to do is create a deal, just the deal. So
does the contact company already exist in the CRM?
No, assume it does. I mean, all they want to do is when this incoming email comes in, it's going to qualify this and update it. So to be honest, I'm not too sure how we change this.
You can automatically create a deal, can't you? I think. You can automatically create a deal, and drop it into a pipeline. Mm-hmm. So that could work if you wanted to, for it to trigger, automatically qualify, and then automatically generate a particular deal.
Yeah. Okay. So do that. Create. You could create a deal there, and you could do that on this stage, at the one stage for the lead, or you could have it on an earlier stage, create a deal, and the lead still being live and not won or lost. So that's it. Kind of play around with that. It's straightforward. I think if you did it in the lead automation.
Yeah, so I had a question come through on YouTube, just saying, I know you can connect Instagram to Bitrix, interacting with Instagram, does it collect CRM leads, so how does it work? So yeah, you're correct. So I think in the contact center, I think you can do that now. So we've got Instagram business, so you can connect your Instagram up to here. And how it works is on your Instagram posts, if somebody was to comment on an Instagram post, then it will come in to Bitrix via the open channel, so your widget. So Bitrix collects the comments in real time, so as soon as the comment is posted, it will come into Bitrix here, so it'll come in through the widget. We don't have an example of one on here, I think, so it'll come in very similar to this. You'll see a picture of your Instagram post, you'll see the comment that was made and the author who made it, and then you'll have the option whether you want to generate a new lead from that Instagram post. So you can reply to that comment straight from Bitrix, so you don't have to go back to Instagram and comment on it, or you don't have to log into the Instagram app. You can do it straight from this open channel widget here. So that's how it generally works. We'll post up a link, and there is a good explanation on how to set it up on the Bitrix24 website. So we'll post a link to that a little bit later on. But yeah, it's really good, and you just need to ensure that you authenticate your Instagram account here. And Facebook comments works exactly the same as well. So people comment on your post, they will come through the open channels widget. And then we've got the Facebook widget itself, which is directly related to messaging. So if a customer comes onto your business page on Facebook, sends you a message, it will come through the open channel widget again, and you can have a live one-to-one conversation. And all those options, you can generate a lead and save the details into the CRM from them.
Yeah, as our contact details, again, we're Bitrix24 partners. We're based in the UK, we have offices in New York and Dubai, so if you're going to get in touch with us about your projects, whatever they are, any amount of customization is possible in Bitrix, so whatever you're trying to achieve, generally Bitrix generally is a good platform for any projects for sales or project management tools. So get in touch with us with your ideas and we can discuss those with you, or send an email with your questions and we can discuss those on here. So we have a question, can I record SMS messages against a contact? So you can, you can send SMS messages if we go into the CRM and into a contact. You can send SMS messages. I don't know if there's any in here. Let's take some of those out. Scroll down. Yes, so here we go. You can record an SMS message against this, and you can send them either manually from the record here at the top. So we actually have integration here with Plivo SMS, and so I can post a message from here. So that's so that is we've not been enabled, so it's given us an error. We haven't got a subscription account with Plivo. So you do need to pay per message or per 1,000 messages or however they charge. Not like email, but we have pre-built integration with Plivo, so it's quite easy to set up. You've got an account, and it will record. The question is, can I record SMS message against contact? So you can you can do that. It will record it. So you get every activity in the right-hand column here, including text messages, phone calls. So it will record your phone conversations if you have that option enabled. Store it against a contact. Emails. We can record emails, whether they're sent from Bitrix or whether they're sent from your other email provider. Outgoing and incoming emails are recorded. And of course just general notes. So you get full history against this contact lead or deal, whatever it is you're working on. The other way to do it would be to go into deal or lead, do it in automation. So we have item delivered. This stage we might want to send a message, SMS message. So we can do it here. Select your provider. So that's the provider we signed up with, and we put a message in, and that will record against the deal, not against the contact. You want to install against the contact. Yes.
Okay. So I've got a couple more questions. If I wanted to give someone access to the CRM marketing and nothing else, how do I do that? So I know that you're on the cloud version of Bitrix, so it's going to be very difficult to restrict access to anything, to everything other than the CRM marketing, unfortunately. However, quite a lot of these areas do have individual permissions. So the first thing that you need to make sure that you're aware of is if we go into here, into the CRM marketing, go into access permissions up here and grant the permissions that you want to give the user. So at the moment we have a department, so if we just take this off, we could add access permissions and specify a particular user. So if we said David Edwards had the role of administrator or manager, then these roles here are associated to this. So if we said, let's say, administrator, and click on save, and then if we click into the role and just see what that person can do, so these are all the specific areas of the CRM marketing module. Now, related to this, you put, how can I check what permissions a user currently has? So you can only really, you can check again in quite a few different modules. However, the first thing you need to do is check what role that you've given them. So under employees, click into employees again at the top here. And you can see here what role users have. So David, Damien and Katie are all administrators. If you are an administrator yourself and you want, for example, we didn't want David to be an administrator, just click on edit and then take away the access level privileges here. So user has administrative access to the portal, click on save, and then that will take David out. Go back to the employees and the employee list. That will take David out of the administrator. So you can see we have a few on this particular site. So that's the first level where you can see what access permissions. And then probably the final level of the access permissions is going to be where you're in the CRM. And if you go to CRM settings and then into permissions and then access permissions, then you can see what certain roles users have or groups of users have within the CRM based on these roles to the right hand side. So that's how you can see the permissions of the actual users who are logging into the system, the CRM permissions, and I know previously you mentioned about work groups. Probably the third and final place I'll just show you about the permissions in a work group. Click into one for an example here. There are 3 levels of ownership, so owner, assistants and members. If you click into here and just click onto access permissions, then you can specify, for example, in a work group, who can create tasks, who can view tasks, who has access to posting messages, and so on and so forth. So in each of the different modules, it does have its own access permissions. So those are the 3 core areas I would have said for permissions.
Okay, I have an account with Plivo and can send SMS messages with Bitrix, but I cannot receive SMS messages back into Bitrix. How do I set this up? So I don't think you can, as it stands, receive messages into Bitrix and record them. So unfortunately, but maybe that's something we'll have a look into. But it's not something I don't think it's actually possible to do it. We could probably look into whether that's coming. So you can of course record incoming phone calls and incoming emails, but you can't do it on text messages. So it might be a reason for it. Might be a restriction on the provider, Plivo, but we'll look into that and maybe try and touch on it next time.
Yeah, I think it is quite a common question. I've been asked it before, and at the moment, yeah, I've never seen it happen inside Bitrix. So you can only send only one way at the moment.
Okay, can I remove Bitrix branding and white label it? I need to create a client portal. So you can, depending on which, I mean, essentially Bitrix is limited branding within the site. You could edit your name at the top here. I can edit my name when I call the site, and can't add a logo, I don't think, unless we've got a professional account. So, okay, so I don't have a logo up here, but we're on a professional here. So I'd have to check the terms on that, but you might need a professional account to add a logo. But essentially, apart from that, up there, which is by default is Bitrix24, which you can change anyway. There is a little link in the bottom. You can't change this link in the bottom. That's static. But and then the login page is the Bitrix24 network page. So that can't be changed unless you're on the self-hosted edition, and then you host it on your own domain. Because on the professional you can choose your own domain, so it will point it to that site. On the self-hosted, then you can host a site on your own domain. You're not using the Bitrix network to log in, so you can create your own login page and brand that how you want to brand it. And so really, if you want to remove branding, you need the self-hosted version. You can't white label the product and sell it as your own solution. That's against terms of the license, but you can add branding, your own branding to it for your own purpose. You could do this. I'm going to create a client portal. So if you're doing this on the self-hosted, then you would need a business edition. So the base self-hosted product is the CRM for 12 users. It's $1,500, but it doesn't allow you doesn't have an extranet. It doesn't allow you to invite clients in. So you need a business edition, $3,000 lifetime purchase, and then $750 per annum for updates, which we recommend you budget for. So you can make a very good job of that on the self-hosted. So that's what we would recommend.
Yes, I've got a good question here. If I wanted to create an onboarding process for new clients involving collection of personal information, identifying documents, and touch points in months 1, 2 and 3, what is the best way of achieving this? So the best way of achieving it is if it's a client onboarding. So if we go into, so the best thing to do is make sure that you add your client into the company section. Then the second thing we need to do is go into the CRM settings and then into automation and business processes. So I'm in a cloud version here. So we add a business process in a company. Well, I'll just do this a little bit briefly, but we can put new client onboarding, and it may be, so we'll make sure that these two boxes are unchecked, and we can add any form fields here. So we could maybe say, I think the question was identify document, so maybe we just put doc click on Add File, click on OK. We can add many more fields in here. We've got text fields and all sorts of fields here. But what we could do is create a task. And maybe we had an onboarding work group, that could be quite good, so we could bind that to this particular task. So we could say, I don't know what we could call this, but I think we actually have, let's just look at the documents. So you can start building a structure of tasks. We'll pause this for the moment, and we'll create this with Matt Smith. And we'll have Matt Smith as responsible, so you can specify. You can put all your contents in here, what you need to do. So we could put and then click on, and we won't save it to a work group for the moment. So we can save that. And then you mentioned about touch points in months 1, 2, and 3. What we could actually do is, if we just scroll down and in other, we could pause, and what we could pause for is in days, so maybe months, so we say 30 days, and we'll wait 30 days, and then in 30 days time, we could then, if you want a touch point to maybe book a call in, so we could schedule a call, and so on and so forth. So you start building up your process, and then you could add another pause for 30 days, and another one. And I know you had one task, I know you sent this previously, but you had one task with 27 items in a checklist. I would probably break it down into tasks like we have here. So at the moment, what we have is task 1 to gather the documents, and then what we'll just add, and I'll just show you how it works, is if we just add one more task, just so you can see how this works. And let's just say, I know you had a task for check 0, so we could say Matt Smith again, Matt Smith, we could put check 0 again. Just task requires approval, just take that one off there as well. So there's a load of different options you can select in here. And then, so we've got one task, it's going to pause the process until this task is being completed. Then we're going to complete this task, and then it's going to wait 30 days and schedule a call in. So I'm going to take that one out for the moment, but we'll just see how we can trigger this. So once you've added your new client in the CRM, say Al's Toy Barn, click on here, and new client onboarding. We can add a file. I should have added the file really to the task. We can do so. So let's say company CSV. Click on start. You can see if we now go to tasks. Oh, gather documents is the first one here. So this is the first one. So if we click on here, and then we'll click on, we'll do the task, click finish, and then if we come back here, you can now see that check 0 task has been created because I completed the first task. Then we complete and carry on. I'd recommend creating maybe an onboarding work group for people who work on those onboarding tasks, and then everything gets associated to them.
Okay, is there a way to set up automatic email campaigns based on lead interact? Trying to replace something like HubSpot functions. So, is there a way to play automatic email campaigns? I mean, I can. I'm familiar a little bit with HubSpot, but can't say whether Bitrix is can replace all the functionality. I suspect it doesn't do everything that HubSpot does, but it does. I know it does a lot more other stuff that HubSpot doesn't do. So all I can go through is what's available in Bitrix, but I know that HubSpot will generate actions based on interactions by a contact on a lead. So if they've interacted with your website or your Facebook page or something, then that can trigger actions. And you can do pretty much the same in Bitrix. So if we go into we're in leads here, and go to automation rules and configure, and just show you what's possible. So of course the actions we have are, there's lots of actions, and the sort of thing that you'll want to be doing is sending an email, maybe scheduling a call for somebody if there's a certain interaction that they make you feels, makes this lead very hot. You might want someone to actually call them rather than just email them. Create a task, send an SMS message, and various other things. Change responsible. It might be that actually, as the lead progresses, you change it to a different person. It might be that somebody's responsible for a certain vertical in your business, and you need, as they interact with different product groups on your website, you need to change it to that relevant person. So you could do all those things automatically based on the stage of a lead, and you can update the stage, of course, manually. But your question is about whether you can do this automatically. So the sort of things that you can look for in order to trigger those actions are an incoming email. So it might be useful if you've got a very specific process whereby you're requesting them to email you something. But of course, any incoming email from the email address is going to trigger this action, so it might not be quite right for you. Email viewed and email link clicked. So those are good if you're sending out an email early on the process and you're asking them to click something to view more information about the products they've inquired about. They click on that. That's certainly something that you might want to record and then follow up with an action.
I think that shows you. Yeah, I think that shows you good interaction if you send an email campaign out, doesn't it? So if you were to create a list for your email campaign, fire out a marketing email from Bitrix and use the email link clicked, that shows some interaction and some interest from the email campaign that you sent out of Bitrix.
Yeah.
And you can specify which link they clicked. Yeah. So you may have different stages for interested in product A, product B, product C.
Yeah, and you can build up quite a complex process here. So I think the key to it is that you're then following up with information that's relevant to their activity, around all the resources you have on the web. So you need to be following up with specific stuff. So yeah, as Andy said, you could have a number of different actions based on different links clicked. If they call you, so we're looking at, again, the number that they call from. Again, you might use different numbers, so you need to think about that one. Form submission, so if you ask them to specifically complete a form, then that can trigger something. So we can trigger, I'm not too sure if we've got a visit to Facebook. We haven't got that on there. I guess we might have set that up with a webhook or something. But yeah. So yes, you've got those actions. I think with Facebook you have specific landing pages, and you can track whether they're hitting those landing pages. I guess we can do with HubSpot. I guess we can do something like that if you're on self-hosted edition. We could, or might be actually you could do something like that with a webhook on here. There might be a way of doing that. So I think quite a lot of the functionality you have around HubSpot is available in Bitrix. As I say, a lot of other functionality that HubSpot doesn't have exists within Bitrix. Bitrix is also available from, all these tools are available on any of the commercial packages, so that's $39 a month, as opposed to in the region of 10,000, I think, for HubSpot for the year. So, the minimum. So, there's always a way of doing it. You probably want to get in touch with a partner to help you set some of this stuff up, but I'm sure that most of the functionality you have in HubSpot can be replicated inside Bitrix. You can certainly create landing pages that you can in HubSpot, direct people to those landing pages. You can create campaigns, SMS and email campaigns based on segmenting your leads based on any criteria you want to use to trigger those campaigns. So there's a lot of new tools as well coming out around this. This is relatively new, so there's new action triggers in this case. New triggers being added to this all the time. So I think you should be able to achieve, depending on how complex you want to get, should be able to achieve with the standard tools. If not, then we can do something with some custom action block we can develop for you to do that, which wouldn't be too expensive, I think. Okay, how do I install my custom quote with my logo and other specific information and access to that template every time? So that's easy. If you go into your quotes, then if we just open up any quote, then I have some documents here available which are custom documents. I can add a new template. So the way to do it is to go into your template. I'm not sure if these appear as standard. I think you have to go into a field up here, load templates from library. There we go. So if they don't appear, if you don't have any templates in here, you could upload a template, a Word document, and it will appear in here. But best working with a standard template to start with. So go into here, choose your region, upload your set of templates. If you don't need to use any of these, you can later delete them, but have a look at what the standard templates are.
I think that's definitely what you should do, because the quotes, especially in invoices, do have the product table for creating new lines if you've got multiple lines in your quote.
So it's quite difficult to create these from scratch because they use these references in order to bring the data in, and on here we have 2,400 references to the quotes module, so there's 2,400 different field variations essentially that you can use in order to populate the quotes page. But essentially you choose which one's best, most suited to you, which one's closest, download it, or download it as a Word file. You can then use that to add your logos. You wanted to have installed custom quote, my logo, and other specific information. So you can add your logos to that Word document, edit it just as a Word document, add your terms and conditions at the bottom of the quote, and then re-upload it.
Yes, I think the good thing is when you're re-uploading it, you can give it a template name. This is quite the important part. So where do you want to be able to generate this template from, this document from? So if it is just for a quote, only make it available in the quote section to stop confusion if somebody's trying to generate a quote in a deal. So that document wouldn't appear in the deals section then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's it. And then when you then download your it will appear in here when you want to then generate your quote. You can select the relevant one. I don't think we've uploaded anything into here, so we've got a very basic layout. But you can generate your quote. You can view it in this page here to check that it's as required, and then I can send it by email from this page to attach in the quote here. You can use a template here to put in whatever you want to put in as a template, and then send it. And that's it. So it all happens in the system. You're not coming out you're not downloading PDFs to your desktop, dragging them into your Outlook to send it. So it's, and of course, quicker, but of course it'll record all that inside the right contact record in CRM.
Yeah, and if you want to get access to that document that you previously created, you just simply click on Document, click on Documents, and you'll be able to get access to that quote that you have generated before. So it's a little bit hidden away, but people do say, where does the document go once I've generated it? You just need to go into the quote itself, document, click on the document, and you'll be able to see all the documents that you previously.
I think that's quite a good point, because if you specify an expiry date for this quote at the end of the month, and then you generate another quote next month, I'm going to change that, or the currency, and then it keeps a history of all the quotes. Yeah, I mean, if you're changing a quote, you've got to keep the history, haven't you, of the quotes sent to the customer. I don't know if it references it or anything. It gives it a.
Well, I think if you were to then generate this quote again, you have the option whether you want to use the previous number that you created, or you can use a brand new quote number. Okay. So that'll follow on from the previous quote number that you generated. So I had a question come through just about what's the difference between using a repeat deal and using a recurring deal template. So a repeat deal happens in Bitrix if a customer, so if the deal is assigned to a customer that has previously had a one deal before, so a customer comes, buys, and the deal has been won. If you were to generate a new deal, then it's going to be classed as a repeat deal. So it's, if you create a deal for a company that's already had a one deal, it's classified as a repeat deal. Your recurring deal templates is essentially just you're creating a template to create recurring deals. So maybe, I don't know, a phone contract, you might have deals for telephone contracts. If you click into the gear icon here, click into recurring deal templates, you could have a deal template in here for phone contracts, and you know that that's going to be generated every month then. So you would click into here, add, we could call it phone contract, and then specify it in your repeat section here. We could say regularly, monthly, and specify the date and how often you want it to repeat. So essentially, repeat deals are deals that have already been won, and you've created a new one for that client. And a template is you can create a template to reuse and reuse again.
Okay. So let's have any other questions that you've got. Post them in the chat window.
There was just one thing that I came across recently, just while we've been talking about email marketing and CRM marketing. It's good that, I mean, Bitrix has a really powerful tool to filter out your leads, your contacts, your companies, and really define what lists you want to make. So let's say, for example, we had we wanted to create an email campaign for all the leads that are sourced with a personal contact. So if we went into source and generated personal contact, created that filter, it would then provide us with a defined list. But what we can do is select this now, and then in select action, we can actually add to a segment. Now, a segment in Bitrix is essentially a marketing list, a mailing list. So we can add a new one, or we can add to a pre-existing list in the CRM marketing, segment, Bitrix calls it a segment. So we can add it to a pre-existing segment or create a new one. So we're taking information directly from the database based on our filtered results and using it for our campaigns in the CRM marketing. So if I was to add it to an existing segment, it would just go into one of these pre-existing ones here, and then when I create a new campaign, so let's create a new email campaign, then and choose a template, then I can actually choose the segment I want to go to. So you can create these segments directly from the CRM. It doesn't have to be in leads, it can be in deals, companies, or contacts. Create your filtered list and just add to segment or create a new one.
Okay. So I don't think we've got any more questions. So
I think I just have one more. Question. How do I make sure that nobody changes the recurring deal templates? So I'm not 100% sure on the answer to that. I would have thought that if you're an administrator, you have access to those recurring deal templates. And if not, then I don't think you can actually share. So I don't know if it's in the, if you just go into the CRM settings, I don't think deal templates option is in there yet. So let's have a look. I'll add a new role. I know there's a few being added to the bottom recently. No, not quite yet. So yeah, I would have to I'll come back to you on that question. I think an admin would only be able to change a recurring deal template. I don't think anybody. I think only the owner should be able to change the template.
Okay, so that's about it. If you want to get in touch with us afterwards, then as our contact details, go to interface.com or email us at sales@interface.com about any other questions for next week, or if you've got any other, if you want to see a demo, got any questions about how your project can work in Bitrix, then get in touch with us. But in the meantime, we'll bye for now. See you next time.
See you next time.